Okay.
We don't have any say into this agreement, but we still have to pay it.
Okay, the background is there's a strike on Monday morning.
There is indeed.
The electricians say they're owed, 11.3% of an increase, and they want it.
Joe, this 11% increase was not agreed by the Labour Court. It was turned down. Now, for the last, I think, 18 years, the TU, the ECA and the AECI, of which I'm not part of, so I have no say into this, they have agreed and signed off increases. I understand this is the first time that the Labour Court have said no. And now we're throwing the toys out of the cause,
so
and we're all getting upset.
Well, what effect will this strike on Monday have on you?
Well, none, Joe, because I've got to pay bills, and so is my husband.
So your electricians won't be going on strike?
Well, we've told them, we've got apprentices, you know, it's their democratic right to decide what they want to do. We've only got two. And if they want to do it, fine. I mean, we can hardly afford to pay them now. We certainly won't be paying any strike pay. I'm sure the TEU will be able to pay that, though.
Damien is on the line. Damien, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joe.
You're an electrical contractor.
That's correct. And I'll be in the same boat as that lady's husband there. And to be honest, it's just, like, we're on the, like, I'm living on the breadline with my bank account, so...
And how many electricians do you employ?
At the moment, one. I'm down to one. I had 17 on one job at one stage, and then I had 5 for a number of years. But
and what do you think of the electrician strike coming up on Monday?
Joe, it's a recession. Look, the unions make out that we've made absolute fortunes. Like, I could show you my own wages. I had a normal wage for a long time. Last year I didn't, and this year I've had a good number of weeks that I haven't had any pay. Working late at night, the lads aren't working, I am, and it's just to keep us on the breadline, to be honest. And if the wages do go up, I don't know where I'll stand. Like, the work I have at the moment, when these jobs are finished, I don't know where I am in a few weeks, and I've priced numerous jobs and I haven't got them because, you know, I'm pricing them fair. I'm not pricing them cheap at all. You know, do you know what I mean? But there's people doing them for below cost. I don't know how they're managing them.
Okay, Eamon Devoy of the TWU. You heard him on Morning Ireland is on now. Eamon, good afternoon.
Good morning, Joe. Good afternoon, even, Joe.
Yeah, what do you think of what Damien is saying? He just can't pay this. He's your electrical contractor that you're talking about, but he can't pay it.
Well, he's one of hundreds of electrical contractors. The point is that electrical contractors are all obliged under a registered employment agreement to pay the same rates of pay, and Joe, therefore there isn't a competitive issue.
Into that,
Joe,
Damon?
hang on there.
No, let Damon go ahead.
Like, I've no problem with paying the rate that's there, although it's pushing me to the limit. Yeah. I was an electrician myself at one stage working for someone, so I know what it's like, but the fact of the matter is, this pay increase isn't realistic. The work isn't going to be there, and it's getting tighter. And the prices on jobs, they're making out that we earn a fortune from the hourly rate, say, that we charge. But, like, they're not taking into account holiday pay, insurances, all that type of stuff. We might be charging an hourly rate, yes, but we pay out the hourly rate.
Okay, you're saying
the difference in it.
You're saying the hourly rate you have to pay to an electrician under this agreement is
that's just the bottom line.
It's €21.50.
Yeah,
but
we
much
also
of the
have 4.5 weeks holidays we have to make up. We have insurance. We have vans to run. We have the travel allowances and all this type of crap that is just, you can't price any of that into a job, so you're taking a hit on all that just to stay in with this REA agreement that they're just forcing on us, to be honest, which, as the lady said, we never had a say in, and it was always through the back door at the Labour Court. Then you're told, right, there's
Joe, can I make another point about...
Yeah, well, make it directly to Eamon.
Eamon, the pension contribution, which again we're forced into paying, yes, you're very well aware of the construction workers pension scheme. That increase that comes down in January is directly linked to your pay increase, right? Is that correct, Eamon?
Dolores, how are you? Long time since I saw you. I saw you in the High Court the last time. I remember you when you worked for the ACI.
Just answer the question,
yes.
Eamon. I've had a lot of going around in circles here. So, is the pension increase directly related to a pay increase, yes or no?
Of course it's directly related to
Yeah, so
pay
we're
increase.
going to hit for another increase in January, right?
Every employee is entitled to a pension scheme.
I never said that.
The employees
I asked
contribute
you a
and the
question.
employer
I don't have a pension.
Would you answer the question straight?
I just
to
answered
people
your
who are on the
question,
ground, Eamon, who are not in your little cosy setup, who
I'm
don't
not in
have
any
a
cozy
say into
setup.
this.
I represent
Can you
the
answer the
majority of
question?
electricians in the country. It's not a cozy setup.
I beg your pardon?
I represent the majority of electricians in the country.
Yeah,
It's not
I'm
a
an
cozy
employer.
setup.
I'm not, an
don't.
electrician. I've nobody representing me, Eamon. There's two employer groups of which they represent 250 employers. There is nearly 4,000 of us out here. Who represents me, Eamon, when you make the agreement?
The NEC
You're
oil
very familiar
representative.
with the agreement. You worked for the AECI for
That's
long
right,
enough.
and I saw what went on, Eamon. I
you
saw
know what
exactly
the
what
Well,
went on.
hang on, just don't lose our listeners. What's the AECI? I know the
Association
They're
NECI.
one of the
Electrical
employer
Contractors
groups
in
with
Ireland.
200 employer members.
And then the NECI is what?
ECI.
Which have more than
Yeah.
600.
They've got about 600 members, but nobody's
And
talked
more.
to us, despite the Labour Court recommending
And what
that
do you
Mr
think-
Devoy and the TEU speak to us.
And Eamon, what do you think of Dolores' point that the Labour Court rejected the 11%?
The Labour Court didn't reject the 11%. The Labour Court rejected a whole series of issues that were brought by a number of non-aligned contractors, of which the Lower seems to sit in with at the High Court when they're taking prosecutions against the union and the Registered Employment Agreement. However, what the Labour Court has recommended is that the parties sit down and negotiate a new pay increase. And we've engaged on debate with the employer bodies 4 times since that Labour Court
250,
recommendation
yeah.
has been issued, and they're not prepared to negotiate on those rates of
Well,
pay.
try
However,
negotiating with me, Eamon.
what they are pursuing is a 10% reduction
I
on
never
the rate
wanted
of
a
pay that had
10%
application
reduction.
back
I
in
just didn't want to be put out of
2006.
business.
So the difference between an 11% rise and a 10% reduction is zero, basically, isn't it? Stay as you are.
Yeah.
I agree with you now. And what about the rest of the conditions that the employers are pursuing?
Yes,
Like
and
the
while we're on that, Eamon,
unqualified people
the
to do
people
electrical work?
in the ECA didn't follow them themselves.
I'm not following your point, Doris.
Well, my husband worked for a big member of the ECA. They're the people you're in business with, and they
I'm
never
not in
paid a
business with
pension
them
for
at all,
him.
an employer
Yeah.
body.
So instead
with a
of targeting
negotiating
me, Eamon, and the small family groups trying to earn a crust, why don't you go after the big boys?
We're after the industry. The industry has a common rate of pay and a common set of conditions
no
of
say into
employment
that, Eamon. I've
under
no
a
say
registered
anywhere.
employment agreement. And it's people that want to undercut each other in the industry by trying to
Eamon,
force
you're not
wages
living
down.
in the real world. When we go to Mrs. Murphy and price a
people that
job,
are trying to
she
force
has
wages
the democratic
down,
right
that
to
is
say yes or
destroying our
no.
own industry and destroying the conditions of our members.
That's a load of crap.
Yeah, sorry. They
Why?
don't
Well,
live in the real world.
hang on,
They've been
Dolores.
hanging around the government far too long.
Damien, why do you say that? You were an
The,
electrician.
the bottom line is, if we have to be in the real world with what's happening now, you have to price yourself in the market. It's not a total race to the bottom, but if I want to keep maintaining employing someone, we have to reach a common ground. But there's no give way with the TWEU. If the jobs, people don't have the money to pay the prices that we'd have to charge, do you know what I mean, to make up these pay rises. And it's just a matter of fact. They just say no. They'll go with the better price.
They want
for the better price,
they say
people
is they
can't
want-
agree with the RECI
Okay, they say they want
or the REA agreement.
they want
And
the recession price.
The more people I'll be honest with you, Joe,
Yeah.
the more people that are going out in the dole, the more people that aren't paying taxes and doing nixers and all that type of stuff, and that's really affecting the prices because there's people, they're just trying to live, which I can understand,
But Eamon,
and that's messing with the prices.
Eamon, is it fair to say, well, you've said it already, that this the strike of electricians will affect, as well as small electrical contractors, obviously, but the Lansdowne Road, the Point building project, the Corrib Gas building project, is that true?
Yes, of course.
And will they shut down on Monday?
They will, of course.
Oh, this is madness, surely.
Well, you tell that to the employers that won't sit down and negotiate on the basis of the Labour Court
I'll
recommendation.
sit down with you,
and
Eamon.
the
I'll
employers
sit down
that
with
want
you.
to diminish the whole standards within the industry by employing people that are non-qualified electricians, paying them 25% less than an electrician, and all the other
Well, I
activities
don't do that.
that the employers are engaged in.
John is on the line in Concede.